One thing I'm still struggling myself is to get one good picture of the building. It's not possible. I need an aeroplane to do that because inside, actually the building is constantly changing throughout the layout, the roof lines. It's really a faceted building. You really need a long time to understand it, and especially if I take people there, they think the first time if they just see the brick facade from the street, they think, well, it's a quite tough building, but the moment you walk through it, you can really make a lot of circles through it. So I see very often children running around, chasing around through the building, all through the layers. That's actually very, very nice because it's not a one perspective, one shot building. Personally, that's something I still very like about it. Next. And that comes also, for example, to these areas that I described before, where we managed to leave in enough air in the building, let's say. The communal, this is actually just an escape stair, but we kind of made it in such a light way that it really adds something to the building itself. It's not just a stupid escape stair, it's a really important spatial moment within the building. Next. What I said before is that I'm really happy that people make a mess out of our building. I really think that at a certain moment you have to let go as an architect and see other people slightly destroy your building or your cheap ideas of how architecture could be. But at the same time, I'm very happy, for example, these people understood the color yellow. They painted their table yellow. They had a deeper understanding of what we're doing. I'm very happy that you can have these kind of interactions. Next. These are the deep galleries that I described before. Actually, they don't look that nice anymore. We had a construction failure. The constructor and the structural engineer made a mistake, and they didn't put the concrete floors properly there, so they got gaps, and we had to put an extra steel construction in there now, which destroys the image. But this is how it's meant it's supposed to be. So these are the verandas actually in front of the apartments of the people. Next. This is then one of the views of the courtyard. I hope that the people themselves will introduce a bit more green to the apartments. But what you see, what one of our intentions was is to prevent people to make private gardens. That's a typical Dutch thing. They make a private garden and they seal it off with a wall, a wooden wall, and they just seal themselves off, and you get this kind of really horrible spaces you would just have had a corridor in between. So with a lot of effort, we could convince the client to have one collective garden where now children can play soccer and where you have a sense of community. At the same time, we created a small stretch in front of the apartments next, where people can put their pots and plants, and where slowly they kind of claiming their own territory. So I think it's for people who live there, I think it's good to challenge them to find out what their own territory is and what their collective territory is, and to deal with these borders. And here it actually works very well. You see that people really take care of the front door. Next. And slowly they put up the benches and the flower pots, so slowly also this internal space will become more messy, I hope. But at the same time, keeping the idea of collective space. Next. Here you can see the small kids running around, and I recently saw a big barbecue standing there, so I'm really happy that the space is being used. At the same time, the roof garden itself is also a kind of visual collective space of contemplation where you can really enjoy the view into the largest urban scale. Next. Once again, I'm really happy how this looks like. It's not architectural. It's not out of the magazines. It's very Dutch. But I really like it. I'm really happy that people have spaces to deep deploy and come up with their own ideas about how things have to work. Next. That's me in an empty courtyard, just when we finished the building. One of the things we also introduced are roof lights into the roof of it, so to give more quality to the extra high rooms that are underneath. Next. And the building actually, I think that's an interesting part of architecture. There is a night side, there's a dark side to architecture itself. And I think it's really, for us, we were very happy that we found this moment that we could add an extra layer to the building at night time. And it was a very simple shift to just shift the lamps in the galleries that are normally always on top of the entrance door for each apartment. We shifted them just to the outside skin of the building, so they illuminate the green-yellow wall, and they give a really special character to the building. Next. So I think this is the most published image of the building itself. It tells really a lot about, let's say, the quality the building has in a larger scale. I think the analysis of the students was exactly the analysis we did ourselves in the office. So we also thought, okay, let's make just a gallery, but we slowly kind of, by investigating the perforations, found out that this is a much nicer way to perforate. But we had a reference, I don't know, you probably know my age. In my time we had LP record players, and they had this kind of small pitch adjustment dots on the side. You had this little orange light, and depending on the speed that you would spin around, you could see if it was well tuned. And we had this as a reference this is for people that were born before 1970, I guess. It's not for everybody. Next. And what I also find interesting is that that we really created through the geometry a kind of mystique to the building. There is kind of something mysterious that you really ask yourself, if you don't live there, what is behind it? I think that's also something we're very happy about, that you have a glimpse of the inside world, but it's rather a secret. It's a quality that is really for the people living there. Next. I think that's the last image. Thank you very much.